Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody throughout this crazy world, this is your boy, the Monkey Man, and welcome to another episode of Straight from the Monkey's Mouth. Now, I do apologize that I have not uploaded in a minute. I'm sure if anybody watches this, they've been waiting for it. My life is busy. I'm not really good at schedules right now. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm kind of dreading this video. This is a video that I've been scared to talk about because this is a major part in my life. When I was 16, and I graduated when I was 17, but I turned 18 a day later, which was funny. I graduated June 11th. 2011, my birthday is on June 12th. So, from age 16 to 17, junior and senior year, this was a huge pinnacle time. And it's stressful for me because I'm about to start reliving some crazy stuff. Because this is when shit starts to get real for me. So, I need to get myself ready, which is rare. So, to anyone who comes across my video journal of documentation, if you like what you see, by all means, shoot me a like. You could write a comment. I'll probably respond to it. I saw a girl posted a comment. It was real nice. I need to send her a comment, and she's getting a shout out here. I've uploaded a good majority of my life kind of as a documenting. I want to put my story out there to showcase mental health and show that it really doesn't matter where you come from. The mind can be a dangerous thing and it can really cripple you. And you can see one thing, you can see a visible look of a person and how they act, but you will never fully know who they are unless you've walked a mile in their shoes. So with that being said, come unwind with me and let's talk about junior and senior year. So let's start with the fact that all the original Goonies that brought me, Liz, Leah, Missy, and Charles, that brought all of us in, they're gone. They already graduated and moved on. So now we have a whole new generation of kids, and they're coming to us as kind of like these head guys. And the Goonies ended up evolving from a bunch of scattered little groups to this one massive collection of misfits that gathered around this tree in this courtyard. Now let me explain Fletcher High to everybody. Fletcher High is like a hollow square. It's a square with another square inside. It's got this weird pavilion with benches and a giant rock with senior signs. Yet, for some weird reason, I never see anybody chilling in this damn pavilion. I don't know why it's there, but it is. So, behind the school is the pavilion where all the kids usually go to lunch, and connecting the square school to another big building, which was the gymnasium, which was the cafeteria. In the back, it had the bedroom. It had a bunch of art rooms and all kinds of fun. Shut up. To one side, we had a bunch of trailer classrooms with a pool. To the right of us, the buses would go out. And over in the corner were a bunch of other newly built trailer classrooms. It was a small school, but it was packed. and it was jumping. It was jumping all the time. We had a freaking driver's ed spot, 2 different employee parkings. It was a cool place. So in the pavilion, if I'm walking out, looking at the atrium, our tree was the last tree towards the bus stops, and we conglomerated randomly just a whole mini family. And this was the first time that I had a huge group of people that supported me, that was with me, that didn't stab me in the back. I still had Leah, Liz, Missy, and Charles. And I'm going to reference this by saying I'm going to do it like that because I'm still trying to remember their aliases. Some are aliases, some are not. But I still had them. And all these new people were coming to us. I was like, oh, you're the higher guys. We need to be around you. Okay. I didn't care. Also, I became real good friends with a bunch of teachers. They allowed me to come into their classrooms when I was at lunch. I would just sit in and just chill with them, enjoy myself. I had great teachers like Mr. Wilson, Miss Henderson, Mr. Bennett, who I'm going to reference later, Devaney, Mr. Brown, aka Coach Brown. I became friends with teachers I didn't even hang out. I became friends with teachers that I didn't even have classes in. Like Coach Fallon, who was a history teacher, but he was also a wrestling teacher. Mr. Anderson, who was a marine biology teacher. But my marine biology teacher was Coach Takach, who was one of my best friends. I had him 2 years. He was my earth-based science teacher in freshman year, and he was my and he was my marine biology teacher senior year. He was my best friend. I freaking love that man. I think he's retired to his fishing life. Good for him. I love you, Takach. If you ever see this, dude, I love you, dude. Thank you for everything you have done for me, dude. Moving on from that, I had this whole groove of support of all areas through the school, and it was the first time I felt safe. I felt comfortable. I could be me. Now, in junior year, 3 major events happened. 3 of them. The first one was an event that I think is still going on now called Challenge Day. This was when I started in 2009. It was either 2009 or 2010. The event had just started. What it basically is it brings a group of everybody, every race, color, creed, gang, whatever, the bullies and the bullied, everything. And it goes through a series of exercises to show we are all the same. We all go through shit, and instead of going through hate, we should all embrace each other with love and respect. And to this day, I still live with those tactics. I will defend anybody, no matter who they are or who they feel they are. I was approached by what most would consider a bully. I just called it a girl who rightfully hated me at the time, who deserved to hate me at the time. I was an asshole back then, but we don't need that part. She approached me, and through that, we actually became real close. Through the program, I met some great people and great friends that I still talk to occasionally. People I would never associate with or anything. And it's also one of my 4 friends was in Challenge Day with me. And I think she was in my group. And she learned a good bit about my head and everything that was going on with me. This was the first real moment that any of my 4 friends ever saw anything about the real me. Because I just smile and I go through school and I'm just, oh, I'm with my group, I'm smiling, we're talking about school. Nobody really knew what was going on with me. She was the first person to really see it. And she's going to see this as video. I know she is. I'm going to apologize to her now for anything that I say in this video and future videos. Because just so you know, this will be discussed. And I think I warn her every time I mention her in these videos. I'm safe and sorry. We're cool, we're social, friendly, but I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to cut out a good bit, but I'm going to talk about it. Moving forward through that, Challenge Day was the first big milestone junior year. The second milestone was the Rockaholics Club. And the Rockaholics Club, when I signed up, we were at lunch. I don't think we were at the Goonie Tree, which was funny at this time. But we came across, they had this one day where they just set up all the clubs out in the auditorium for people to sign up and enjoy themselves. Rockaholics literally, it came out with the table, blasted music, and literally everybody was dancing and having a good time in the auditorium, in the outside auditorium. It was a blast. And me being a rocker, that naturally is where I turned out to be. And Liz, she actually joined with me. I don't remember if all of them came in. Liz, Leah, and Missy were in Rockaholics with me. We all grouped up. We all had fun. It was a blast. Leading the Rockaholics, I'm going to call him by his regular nickname. I'm not going to say his last name. Dio. Dio was a long-haired rocker, typical what you would expect for a rocker teen that's lived a rocker life. Coolest motherfucker I saw. And he had a group. And the person who ran the group was my history teacher, Mr. Bennett. Callback. Mr. Bennett was an older gentleman who rode a spider car, who played drums in a cover band, who played shows, who's done all kinds of performances. Total badass. Another great teacher and great influence. I'm not a history guy, but because of him, I actually gave a damn and tried. He was the first history teacher I legitimately tried, just because I respected that man. And when we had a Rockaholics meeting, it was his classroom. He was the teacher, chaperone for it. Like, it was incredible. And I did 2 years of that, and I grew a separate set of friends outside the Goonies. So that was more thing with it. And through the years, me, Liz, Leah, and Missy, Charles wasn't a part of it, hilariously. But we all got closer, and it was a great thing that year. Now, it's time for the third thing. Shit. Here we go. Shortly after the challenge day, the initial challenge day, Fletcher actually made a challenge day club, which I was also a part of. I had gotten to know many people, many personal friends through that. I was with one of them. One of the 4. I'm not going to say who. Because now this is a part where things are going to get dicey. And I'm not going to reveal which one. I'm just going to say it was a girl. So, one of the girls was in challenge day with me. We got closer and closer. Now, she and I used to do this thing where we would just simply pass notes and communicate just separately. We had cell phones, but we couldn't really use them, so we just wrote notes to each other and passed them when we passed each other going to class. I don't remember how long we were doing that, honestly. She's going to see this and be like, really? I feel she's going to be like, really? I don't. But one day, she sent me a letter that changed my life forever. She sent me a message saying that either from 7th grade, but I'd most likely want to say it was 8th grade, she had a crush on me. And let me start by stating, this girl was there through my best and worst, even if she didn't see all my demons. And even throughout what I'm going to say, the years later after I was around her, she hasn't seen all of my demons. And it's questionable whether I should have or not, but it's in the past. But she literally used to hand letters to a girl I had a crush on to try and help me get with someone to make me happy. She always went up to bat for me. I mean, everybody else, Liz, Missy, Leah, Charles, I love them all. They've all helped me in their own special way. But this one individual, she was by far one step above it. She sends me, and when I read her message that she had a crush on me, it was at that moment that it clicked in my head that I liked her too. I had seen her as a sister, but this was the first time that I actually felt it could have been more, that it should have been more. And I responded that, yeah, I do too. And she was dating someone at the time. As soon as that message was sent, I get a text message. I'm breaking up with my boyfriend. A week later, we made it official. And the others, out of the 4, literally looked at us, as well, the 3 out of the 4, and the rest of the goodies, who knew us, looked at us like, what the fuck took you 2 so long? That was so surreal. That was the first surreal, biggest twist in my life. And she and I would go complete high school together and have a very happy life together afterwards. Now, moving on to senior year, and we're going to hit the highlights for that. So senior year, first off, the most hilarious highlight was this right here. I have always been a clean person. I never skipped. The only time I ever came into a room late was if my dumbass literally went outside thinking that it was the end of the day. That's happened many times. I never skipped. I never did drugs at the time. I never smoked cigarettes. I didn't drink. I never went out to parties or anything like that. I had a guitar class. I've been to 2. And by the time I was in this guitar class, I already knew a decent amount, and I wasn't really there to learn anything, but I will give it to Mr. Merkel. I will shout out any teacher that has been an influence to me. Mr. Merkel, Fletcher High band teacher. He went to another school. I don't remember which one. And I think he's retired now. He was another very good man who allowed me to, after the lesson he gave us, he just let us go. He just let us do whatever we want to practice. All right. And through that, I will mention this man's name by first name basis, my boy, Brandon. This man was in my class, and we literally didn't... Oh, Brandon was in the class, and Charles was in my guitar class. And literally, it ended up with Brandon and Charles, then Brandon and I, because Charles ended up moving to a different part of Florida. We lost Charles senior year. That was heartbreaking. But Brandon and I ended up just playing songs together. We ended up generating like a mini crowd all the time. It was fucking great. But before Charles left, what we used to do, I had a pass to leave school. And we used to grab our lunch from the cafeteria, go into my car, and we were right next to the beach. So we would just park and eat our lunch right at the beach. Not go anywhere because parents are giving us money and the dang cafeteria food was actually pretty good. So why not? And one day, it was just Charles and I. We drove to the beach and we saw Brandon walking to his house. He's like, "What you doing, man?" "I'm going to my house." "Oh, does you mind giving me a ride?" "Sure, why not? Where you live?" 5 minutes, like literally 5 minutes from the school, right there. Drove right there. Brandon, Charles, Oz, and I started becoming real good friends. Brandon started chilling with Liz, Missy, and Leah. He became part of the group, and then we started hanging. And then Missy and Leah didn't go out with us. Liz did on occasion, and then when Charles left, nobody except for Liz on occasion. But we had a couple Rockaholics friends. Dio's brother became a real good friend of mine, and I'm not gonna mention his name. That's gonna be on a different video as to why. But Dio's brother, my boy Shags, I'm not gonna mention his real name, but we called him Shaggy. I'm trying to remember. A buddy, big boy Josh, gonna say first name. He was the younger brother of an OG Goonie who we were associated with, who unfortunately died. Rest in peace, Glenn. Rest in peace, Glenn Brown. That man was a crazy man. He was a fuck up, but he had the biggest heart, and he was a big supporter of me, and I miss him dearly. I love Glenn with my life. He was a brother to me. He taught me a lot about being a man. Truly. So we hung with his little brother, and we would go to Brandon's house, and we would just hang. One day, nobody wanted to hang except for Brandon and I. Now, we always played in guitar class, but we never hang out alone. Just him and I, just chilling at his place, just us. So we were like, fuck yeah, let's go play our guitars, and let's play our guitars on the porch, eat our lunch, have a good time. Just him and I, hey, just relax. We get there, and he's like, yo, come with me and chill. Now, chill. We go into a corner. He pulls out a bowl. Now, I never cared if anybody did anything around me. That's never been my thing. I just said, don't offer me anything. I don't care if you do it in front of me. I don't care. This was the first time he actually offered, one of my friends actually offered something to me. And I said no first. He handed me an actual highlighter pipe, a homemade highlighter pipe. And he said, dude, take a hit of this. I was like, dude, you know I don't do this. I was like, dude, I know how you are. You'll be fine. Take a hit of this. And I don't know what. I said, yeah, I took a hit of that. That was it. That was it. From there, I was exposed to marijuana, and I became a pothead. Now, I'm going to make this one reference, and people are just going to say, ew. But the reason I'm going to reference this right now is because in another video, you'll see why. I smoked K2 first. I smoked weed rarely at first. Or we had it and we smoked it. But K2 was just being introduced onto the market. K2, spice, synthetic marijuana, for anybody who has it by a different name. This was popular and readily available. That and bath salts was just released, and the side effects and the downsides was not advertised at first because no one was really dying from it yet. So everybody was fucking doing it. So with that said, I'm going to move on from that, because that story as to why I mentioned that is going to be later. As a matter of fact, the next video, I think. But, where am I going with this? So, God, I'm stoned out of my mind. I'm glad the worst of it got out. Oh, a hilarious story was I actually smoked weed. Oh, I know where I was going with that, but I'll tell after this story. I smoked weed with a teacher after high school. I still went after I graduated to pick up some of my underclassmen friends, and we would still go out, go and chill. I was in the parking lot on the side on the trailers next to the bus stop, and I'm rolling a joint, trying to be inconspicuous, looking out, this and that and that. I'll go to lick, and I'll look over, and there's my chemistry teacher, Mr. Stare, with a lighter and a pipe. Y'all ever seen the movie How High? We just stare at each other for a few seconds. Roll the window down, and he's like, get in. That was funny. He'll probably deny it. I know the truth, buddy. It's alright. But, what else? There's so much more in this one. Oh, yeah. So, I go back. I'm going to reference another teacher I referenced. Shola Takach. Takach was... One thing I also didn't mention. Takach was in the challenge day with me. And he became an even bigger supporter that day, because he was around to see my demons as well. Takach and I were very close. Freshman year, we actually had bets. We actually had bets done. I am a very talkative person, and in Takach's class, it's a crazy controlled classroom. Takach was a giant child. And it's kind of one of those classes that if you're the quiet one, something's wrong with you. This is one of the classrooms that lets you be yourself, and Takach was one to let you be yourself. You wanted to text? Go ahead. Don't do it when he's doing a lesson. Do it when you're doing your work. I don't care if you send a text or two. Go ahead. So we had a bet that if I didn't talk for a whole 9 weeks, a whole semester, for a whole quarter of a semester, if I win, he would buy me a soda. If I lost, which means I talked without having my hand raised and called upon, I would buy him a soda. And if he kept forgetting, he would add a soda each time he forgot. Which led to, I won. First off, I won. And he kept forgetting so bad that it led to a whole 12-pack of Pepsi. He literally, I walked in for the finals. He looks at me with a smile and just go, clunk. I'm like, my man. I gave it to the whole class. Because I used to buy candy and stuff like that. I used to just give it to people. Just cause. That was how I was. I used to buy warheads and give it to people. And you used to just see kids on the freaking counter just banging on the freaking counter. I got talked out so many times with warheads. And he knew about it. He hated it. I was doing it, but he loved them so much. He literally popped warheads while doing a lesson. It was like, this is he would be crippled for like a good 5 minutes. He'd be crippled for like a whole 5 minutes, but even after he one time left the fucking classroom just because he had to just move. Like, oh, I haven't thought about that in so long. That was so funny. Like, he eventually asked me to stop bringing him in. For obvious reasons, I'm like, okay. But I also had times where I was selling the candy and it was all kinds of craziness, man. Talk was great. Fast forward past the challenge day and us getting closer and stuff like that. We go to senior year and we introduce another evil but incredible influence, Mr. Timothy Devaney. English, creative writing, and some other stuff that I never took. I took English 2 in his class. Him and Takach, I guess teachers are teachers, but I think him and Takach were cool. We're actually friends. They come into me, I was in Devaney's class. And Takach came in for whatever reason, saw I was there, started raising hell about me to Devaney. And Devaney's like, you know this guy? Because Devaney fucked with me too. And he's like, yeah, he's in my class and this and this and this. This is the second time I had Takach's class. Takach has now became a marine biologist teacher. So I had him twice. And it's like, yeah, he's in my class and this and this and this. And we get to talking and the bet comes up. I remember why, because we just got done with the bet. We did that bet again. We did it a grand total of 3 times. And I won twice. So, the third time, this is the third time. So, the bet comes up it comes up about the second bet we did. And Devaney's like, dude, there's no way you did that to me. And I was like, yeah, I win. And Taka's like, yeah, you did that. He looks at me. Devaney looks at me and is like, bet you won't do it again. Is that a challenge? Takach looks at me and was like, no. I want in on this one. Both of them ganged up on me. Thinking I couldn't talk unless my hand was raised. They both ganged up on me. And I knew I could win. I thought I could win. But this is what made it different. Takach was about to just be the regular thing. If I lose, that's just it. Devaney looked at me and was like, no, I want something from him. Now, I want you to look at my hair right now. You see this? You see the sides? Now, imagine, back in the day, all of this. I had a giant Jufro. And I can tell by most people who watch this and gonna see where this is going. But dramatic effect, people. I used to have a gigantic Jufro. I couldn't brush it. I couldn't do anything but get wet. Because if I did, my hair would be out there here. And my hair was long. Not as long, because I've officially beaten that. I've officially beaten my length in the front, but not so much in the back. But I'm getting close to it in the back. But you can only see it if I was in a pool or I was wet. Otherwise, it'd just be coming out. Devaney looked me dead in the eye and said, if you lose, you have to cut your hair off for graduation. I had to walk graduation with a shaved head. Now, granted, that was taken back because they're like, no, he came in looking like that. He should leave like that. Cut it after. And here's how I lost. Takach had one golden rule. One cheat for me. Substitute teachers. Takach would not take a student's word. He had to physically see me talk. If there was a substitute, I can talk. I can be my normal self because Takach wanted to physically see me. That wasn't explained to Devaney. That was my one out because Takach saw it. A substitute teacher was in Devaney's class. I went by the same rules and I talked, thinking that rule would still be in play. It was not. I screwed myself. And even Takach looked at me like, you are a dumb ass. But I was fair. After graduation, I cut it off. And for years, I actually had a buzzed head. In fact, do I have any pictures on here that kind of... Not in any good lighting, but I did. This is only the second time I've actually had long hair. Since high school. So I'm trying to think, is there anything else I'm missing? I don't think there is. Which means I'm going to end this video right here. Thank you so much for sitting and watching my complete randomness. Next, we're going to start getting into after school. I am 9 years out of high school. And those 9 years have been one fucking hell of a roller coaster. This is the moment I have been dreading. Because now I'm about to talk about some real demons. I don't know when I'm going to upload it, honestly. But I am. So, till then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody throughout this crazy world, I have been the Monkey Man. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for following my story. If you have actually binged watched my story, that's why I've uploaded. I have plenty of stories now, and I'm going to continue to upload stories. I'm thinking about, I'm going to reference it again. I said it at the beginning of this video. I'm starting to think about doing videos about things that are on my mind, because like I said, what I want to show is mental health and the stages of depression and how it can go through and do everything like that. My mind goes through all kinds of twists, turns, ups, downs. I'm on top of the fact that I'm ADHD and autistic, so my mind goes a million directions on a normal basis before it decides to come in with a knife and just go, hey, 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 hey. But these course of 9 years and however many parts I decide to do this, because I'm going to catch up to this time right now. This is when the real turning point happened. I was a late bloomer. Where I was at this point, in any normal situation, I should have hit when I was in middle school. On any normal person situation that didn't have a fucked up life or anything else like that, or seclusions, or private school, or fucked up principals, or constantly moving, and this and that, and this and that. Any normal person who has a happy, good upbringing, no problems, and this and that, their biggest physical and emotional change would happen roughly around middle school. Mine started at the end of high school. So that means through that small time, and then the rest started happening. when I became adult. I started to become adult at a much later time. And through that, I made a lot of mistakes. And we're going to discuss that. So, again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next video. If you liked it, if anybody sees it and they like it, please shoot me a like. Subscribe if you want. By all means, make a comment. I'm probably going to respond to it or respond to it on the video. So thank you all so much. Another big leap done. Moving on.